Yung keep it out clean up with the You just want someone to like you know where you are.
You do like this? Yeah, we do that, but not. Obrigado.
Thank you.